What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
We are saying that we exist as a nation, and we want to continue to do so. And we want people to understand where they arrive, to understand that there is a nation here, a Quebec's nation. There is a language here. There is a culture. There are some identity. They are welcome here, but they must embrace this culture and then contribute.
Okay. That is the minister, Jean-Francois Robert, is trying to explain why the CAQ feel it's necessary to introduce a new provision of some kind to let immigrants know that when you come to Quebec, you're not necessarily coming to Canada, you're coming to Quebec where things are very different, where it's really not different, but where he's trying to make you think that it's very, very different because apparently you have to embrace just Quebec culture and values while ignoring Canadian culture and values at the same time. But to better explain, ladies and gentlemen, James Mennie from the Montreal Gazette. Jim?
Aaron, I got to tell you right off the bat, I'm going to take this someplace where perhaps you are not expecting, because when you listen to what Monsieur Robert has to say, if you had substituted the word Canada with the word Quebec, I think there's a whole hell of a lot of people in the ROC and the rest of Canada, and indeed a lot of our listeners, who would be 10,000% on board. You can say what you will about the CAQ and their nationalism and their identity politics, but the fact is they know how to get under people's skins. They know how to get inside of people's heads. And this is an issue. One of the reasons Justin Trudeau found himself one of the most reviled politicians in this country is he's the one who said, oh, this isn't really a country. There's no mainstream. Everybody's from everywhere else, and we're a post-nation nation, and this thing has hung around his neck like an anchor simply because a lot of Canadians said, no, that's not who we are. We're seeing the same template, if you will, being used by the CAQ, and even though there are not people who are going to say, my goodness, we're under threat and we need some legislation. They know perfectly well that they can turn around and pretend they're taking the high ground and say, listen, these people come from all around the world and they have to get used to our ways. And we want to see them. We want them to be part of our mainstream. Here's the problem, though. When they do try to become part of the mainstream, let's say a bunch of, Muslims get together. They want to go to a sugar shack, right? It's a benasik, okay? Now, they can't eat pork. So they say, could you hold the pork on the beans? Well, the Journal de Montreal went ballistic, remember? They want us to change our ways. So, I'm sorry, you can't win in Quebec with, the proto-nationalists who are churning out the Journal de Montreal and the people who are in the CAQ. But all that said, Aaron, they are going to find a receptive audience. They're going to have people who don't normally pay attention to this thing. It is not right that you have these communities that just put walls around themselves. And he used the word ghetto, and it's not the first time I've heard that used in relation to that. So, yeah, it can frustrate you. We can certainly agree there's about 8 billion things they should be talking about before this. But believe me, I'd be very surprised if someone turns around and says Quebec is wrong on this particular issue.
Okay, but here's my question, Jim. If you look back historically, so my parents were immigrants, right? And people who came here after the war, a lot of them who knew other people from countries they came from, they always tended to try to live around each other, near each other, because they felt more comfortable that way. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, though, we all ended up merging, if you will, into the existing culture and community.
Absolutely.
Why would it be any different now?
Well, they're just pointing at and the CAQ as well love to point to the experience of Europe, where you have entire sections of cities where there are Muslim communities. But that's not an issue of necessarily being ghettoized. It's also an issue of having huge tensions between the political class and the chattering classes and minorities. I mean, there's that whole idea. Behind a lot of that is the whole idea that they're coming here to replace us, right? This is replacement theory that, it's like I remember when the Project 2050 or whatever, they were accusing the federal Liberals of wanting to flood Canada with immigrants, so they'd all vote for Liberals, and they would basically, extinguish, they would wipe away the Quebec nation, because we would just be swamped in immigrants. Immigration is a fact. Immigration is the key to this nation and this country's survival. But all that said, depending on how you spin it, Aaron, I think they can still, like, even now, the CAQ can hide behind this and say, listen, we want to be open. We just want, these people, these immigrants, to understand that this is how we do things in Quebec.
Sure.
I get a little anxious over it. I get a little miffed, Aaron, when they say in Quebec it's a value that men and women are equal. I got a flash for you, Monsieur Robert. The country, the actual country that you live in, that's what the value
Right.
is. So you know what I mean? But these guys, they like to play. It's like kids playing dress up, right? I'm the father of the nation and this and that and blah, 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 blah. The Quebec nation was a concoction by Stephen Harper, 15 years ago. When he said it out loud in the House of Commons, everyone around him said, you've made a huge mistake. Yeah. The separatists are going to grab this and run with it. They shrugged. It was politically expedient. And now look where we are. It has become part of the vernacular. It is in the preamble to federal legislation. Because why? Because Stephen Harper wanted to head off Gilles Duceppe of the Bloc Québécois, who was going to table his own motion about the Quebec nation. And even though they say the Quebec nation, it's formed of people within Canada, everyone said no one's going to listen to the rest. All they hear is Quebec and nation. You've done it. And here we are, 15 years later, buddy. And it's part and parcel of our daily bread.
Yeah, I want to just play this clip from Roberge today. So the question was asked again, why are we doing this? Built 21 and 96 kind of already say this. This seems a bit redundant. And then someone asked the question, well, how is this supposed to happen when you say you want immigrants, right, to contribute more to Quebec society and values, et cetera? What do you mean? To which Jean-François Roberge said this.
We want them to go outside their communities and go speak with us, discuss with us. We want to see them on our les fêtes de quartier. We want to see them at la Fête nationale du Québec. We want to see them within our shows. We want to see them in our movies. We want to see them everywhere. They are welcome.
They want to see them everywhere, Jim. Everywhere. How are they going to do that?
Immigrants have been here for decades, and he may have a point. But you know what? Immigrants aren't the one making the movies. Immigrants aren't the ones putting together the TV series. Immigrants aren't the ones who are organizing the Saint-Jean-Baptiste, or should I say the Fête Nationale ceremony. So if they're absent, maybe you're looking at the wrong group of people, Monsieur Roberge. Maybe there has to be a little more, effort on the part of the Quebec nation.
There you go.
To gather into its bosom all these people who are coming here, all these poor benighted immigrants who need your guidance as to understand what is right and wrong in Quebec and apparently coincidentally in Canada. So this is where we are. So but this is what I mean, Aaron. These guys don't think past 15 minutes of where this is going to go. I mean, for God's sakes, our latest offensive now, I don't know if you saw that nice Simon Jean Barrette has taken over one of Roberge's portfolios. He's now Intergovernmental Affairs Minister. Oh, yes, and he's sitting down in front of his Smith Corona typing up a Quebec Constitution. Okay? Because that's what we need, Aaron, right now, a Quebec Constitution.
Yeah. Smith Corona, huh? Nice touch, Jim.
You like that?
Yeah, let me go. Let me go back.
It's as antiquated as constitutions, but go on. Yeah.
It could be your royal typewriter. Either one would have been fine. I want to talk about the question that we're going to ask when we get done here, and that's about this whole brouhaha, if you will, over Chandra Arya, the liberal wannabe who has been told by the Liberal Party, sorry, can't run for the leadership. We can't really tell you why, although it's pretty obvious the why is because he doesn't speak French, and apparently he's not interested in learning French. So my question was going to be, and was earlier when we started, is it absolutely imperative that the future prime minister of this country speak French, or is it enough that he or she say, you know what, I don't speak it well enough, but I'll make an effort and learn it as I'm in office? What do you think?
He's not the CEO of Air Canada, but he's the Prime Minister of Canada. And last I heard, there are two official languages in this country, and if you have any respect for this country and our situation right now, you speak both.
Which would preclude him from this race or exclude him from this race?
Well, I think as well, there may be a little more to it than that. I mean, a lot has been made about the trip he made last year to go visit the Prime Minister of, or the President of India. I forget what the title is. Yeah, it's President. And things are not exactly cordial between Canada and India. He went on his own. He went on his own dime.
But
so
even that aside, though, it disqualifies him because he has no interest in speaking French or thinking it's even important in Quebec.
Well, I think that would be an issue. But here's the problem. They have, as far as I know, they haven't said anything officially. They haven't given us chapter and verse why he's not qualified. Yeah. And I think that is a very, very smarmy, skeevy, unfair, and really sleazy way to go about things. And I really hope this is an indication of how this party is going to behave as this contest moves forward, because quite frankly, I think the Liberal Party of Canada's image needs all the help it can get.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.